Nevada is known for the bright lights of Las Vegas and the growing skylines of Reno, but beyond the famous cities lies another Nevada, where homes sell for prices so low you might think the listings are mistakes. We're talking about houses for less than a new car and mortgages that look like monthly cell phone bills. But before you rush to pack your bags, there's always a catch. These towns may be cheap, but they come with challenges: tiny populations, fragile economies, and in some cases, futures that look more uncertain than stable. Still, hidden among them are places where opportunity is real, if you're willing to take the risk. Stay with us until the end, because the last town on this list isn't just affordable, it's tied to forces that could make it the riskiest bet in all of Nevada. Subscribe now, and let's dive in. 10. Rachel. Our list begins in Rachel, a town so small that the official population is just 54 people. To put that into perspective, that's fewer people than most high school classrooms. And yes, everyone here probably knows your business before you've even unpacked. The reason Rachel attracts attention isn't its bustling economy, because it doesn't have one. It's its proximity to Area 51. The town thrives on alien tourism. Local diners sell UFO-themed merchandise, and half the residents have a story about seeing something strange in the sky. Whether you believe in extraterrestrials or not, buying here means you'll have a front row seat to one of America's most enduring mysteries. Now, let's talk numbers. Median home prices in Rachel hover around $85,000 to $95,000. That's less than many Americans spend on weddings, and probably a better long-term investment. Compared to Las Vegas, where median home prices top $430,000, Rachel looks like a financial mirage. But here's the catch: infrastructure is minimal, internet is spotty, Amazon delivery drivers may never find your address, and the nearest city is hours away. Even gas stations are scarce, so running out of fuel isn't just inconvenient, it's potentially a survival situation. For some, that isolation is unbearable. For others, it's a dream. Silence, star-filled skies, and a mortgage smaller than most monthly rent checks in California. Just don't expect a Starbucks on every corner. Here, the closest latte might be 80 miles away. Rachel isn't for everyone, but if you've ever wanted to trade crowded city living for a place where your closest neighbors might be little green men, this could be your chance. 9. Battle Mountain. Next on our list is Battle Mountain, a town that once went viral for embracing the nickname, the Armpit of America. And yes, they even held a festival about it. It takes a special kind of confidence to lean into an insult and turn it into tourism. But behind the jokes, Battle Mountain offers something most Americans can only dream of. Home prices around $120,000 to $140,000. That's for an actual house. With land, not a cramped condo or a studio the size of a walk-in closet. In San Francisco, you'd be lucky if that price covered a parking space. With a population of about 3,600 residents, Battle Mountain is small but not invisible. There's a modest downtown, a few local shops, and access to Interstate 80, which connects the town to Reno and Elko. That highway access makes Battle Mountain less isolated than some of Nevada's other bargain towns. The economy here leans on mining and small-scale service jobs. Wages are modest, and entertainment options are limited, unless you count tumbleweed races down Main Street. Winters can be harsh, summers scorching, but what you gain is freedom from the crushing costs of urban life. Imagine living mortgage-free, with your biggest monthly expense being Netflix. Still, affordability doesn't erase challenges. Healthcare access is limited, and young people often leave in search of bigger opportunities. Schools are small, options for shopping are limited, and if you want variety in restaurants, you may need to drive for hours. Yet, for families looking for stability or retirees stretching pensions, the math works. And here's a fun twist: despite its reputation, many residents love Battle Mountain's underdog identity. They wear the armpit label like a badge of honor, turning ridicule into resilience. If nothing else, you'll never run out of quirky conversation starters when you tell people where you live. 8. Austin. Coming in at number 8 is Austin, Nevada, not to be confused with Austin, Texas. This Austin won't wow you with tech startups or trendy coffee shops. Instead, it offers old world charm and prices that seem frozen in time. Median home prices range between $100,000 and $130,000, less than the cost of many new electric cars. With a population of just 167 people, this is the definition of small town living. The entire main street is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, places, giving it the feel of a preserved mining town. In fact, that's exactly what it is. Austin was once a booming silver mining hub, but today it's more of a whisper town. Life here comes with unique trade-offs. The nearest Walmart is more than 100 miles away. The dating pool? Let's just say it's more puddle than pool. And if you're a fan of same-day shipping, patience will become your new best friend. But what Austin lacks in convenience, it makes up for in atmosphere. The town sits at 6,600 feet above sea level, surrounded by mountain views so striking they feel unreal. On clear nights, the stars look close enough to touch, and the silence is absolute. Unlike crowded urban centers, Austin offers a rare commodity: peace. Economically, opportunities are scarce. Mining and small-scale tourism keep the town afloat, but most residents are retirees or people seeking an escape. Internet service is slowly improving, making it possible, though not ideal, for remote work. For some buyers, that's enough. For others, it's a deal breaker. What makes Austin compelling is its character. Walking down Main Street feels like stepping back in time, surrounded by historic architecture and a pace of life that hasn't changed in decades. For those burned out by city chaos, it's not just affordable, it's therapeutic. 7. Pahrump. If you've ever wanted to live in Las Vegas without actually living in Las Vegas, Pahrump might be your place. Located about 60 miles west of Vegas, this town offers affordability, open desert views, and just enough quirks to keep life interesting. Median home prices here hover around $250,000, which might not sound as cheap as Rachel or Battle Mountain, but compared to Vegas proper, where homes often top $430,000, it's a bargain. And unlike Nevada's tiniest towns, Pahrump has amenities, supermarkets, medical centers, schools, and even a couple of casinos. Yes, because in Nevada, no town is truly complete without slot machines. Pahrump has long been popular with retirees looking for low-cost living and California escapees who want more space for less money. The average lot size here is generous, meaning you're more likely to have room for an RV or garden than in a Vegas suburb. But Pahrump also has its challenges. Water availability is a growing concern, with wells running deeper and aquifers shrinking. Employment opportunities are limited outside of service jobs, construction, and small businesses. Many residents still commute to Las Vegas for work, which means traffic across the desert can become a daily reality. On the quirky side, Pahrump is known for its annual Balloon Festival, a community event that fills the desert skies with color. It also gained notoriety years ago for its more adult-oriented businesses, though those have mostly faded away. Affordable, accessible, and just close enough to the action, Pahrump is a compromised town. It won't give you the neon dazzle of Vegas, but it will give you more house for your dollar, a slower pace, and the sense that you found a corner of Nevada where survival doesn't require hitting the jackpot. 6. Elko. Next up is Elko, often called the capital of Nevada's high desert. With a population of about 20,000 people, Elko is one of the larger towns on this list, giving it a very different feel from the ghostly quiet of Rachel or Austin. Median home prices in Elko fall between $220,000 and $240,000, a full 40% below the state's median. For that price, you're not just getting walls and a roof, you're getting access to a functioning community with schools, healthcare, shopping, and even an airport. Yes, it's small, but if you need to get somewhere fast, Elko can actually get you in the air. The economy here is built on mining, especially gold. Nevada is the top gold-producing state in the US, and Elko is right at the center of it. Mining jobs bring stability, but they also make the town vulnerable to swings in commodity prices. When gold is strong, Elko thrives. When it drops, the job market gets shaky. Beyond mining, Elko celebrates its cowboy heritage with the annual National Cowboy Poetry Gathering, a week-long event that attracts visitors from around the world. Imagine an entire festival dedicated to cowboy culture, poetry, music, art, and stories that remind you just how much the American West shaped Nevada's identity. Living in Elko does mean dealing with weather extremes, freezing winters, hot summers, and snow that can make travel tricky, but the trade-off is affordability, wide open space, and a genuine community feel. For families or retirees, Elko offers an affordable lifestyle with far fewer risks than Nevada's smallest towns. Some call it the last real town before the wilderness, and they're not wrong. Elko is big enough to function, cheap enough to afford, and remote enough to feel like an escape. For many, that combination is exactly what makes it appealing. 5. Winnemucca. Halfway through our list, we arrive at Winnemucca, a town with a name you'll either love saying or struggle to pronounce every single time. With about 8,600 residents, Winnemucca sits along Interstate 80, making it a key stop between Reno and Elko. Median home prices here hover around $200,000 to $220,000, keeping Winnemucca firmly in the affordable category. Compared to the national median of more than $400,000, it feels almost too good to be true, but the town's affordability comes with both perks and caveats. On the plus side, Winnemucca has a functioning downtown with shops, restaurants, and schools. It's also home to the Basque Festival, celebrating the town's deep Basque immigrant roots. You'll find Basque food, music, and culture woven into the community, making Winnemucca one of Nevada's more distinctive small towns. The economy is supported by mining, agriculture, and transportation. Trucking is big here, thanks to the interstate, and that keeps a steady flow of jobs and money through town. For remote workers, internet service is available, though not always lightning fast. The downsides, like many Nevada towns, Winnemucca faces limited healthcare options and a small job market. Weather can be tough. Icy winters and very hot summers test resilience. And while it's affordable, it's not exactly brimming with nightlife. If your idea of fun is clubbing until 3 a.m., Winnemucca will disappoint. But if your idea of fun is a local rodeo or a quiet evening under the stars, it just might be perfect. Winnemucca's affordability is real, but it isn't a secret. Californians looking for an escape have already started trickling in, pushing prices up slowly. While it's still cheap compared to urban Nevada, the trend suggests Winnemucca may not stay this affordable forever. For now, though, it remains a town where middle-class families can still realistically buy a home without risking financial ruin. And in 2025 America, that alone makes Winnemucca worth paying. Attention 2. 4. Yerington might not make national headlines, but for those in Nevada, it's quietly becoming one of the state's most intriguing bargain towns. With just over 3,100 residents, this is a community where small-town rhythms still rule. Agriculture dominates life here. Fields of onions, garlic, and alfalfa stretch across the valley, watered by the Walker River. Unlike many Nevada towns that rely heavily on mining or gambling, Yerington's roots are in farming. That means housing prices don't rise and fall quite as violently as in casino-dependent towns. But it also means the town's fortunes are tied to water supply, and drought has been a recurring threat. Over the past decade, Walker Lake has lost more than 50% of its volume, sparking debates about water rights that directly affect farming and, by extension, the housing market. Home prices in Yerington are still modest by Nevada standards. A decent 3-bedroom house can often be found in the $210,000 to $240,000 range, about 40% cheaper than Reno. Rental costs average around $950 per month, which is a relief compared to Las Vegas, where rents easily top $1,600. However, homes here spend longer on the market, an average of 70 days, nearly double the state's average, because buyer demand is limited. The economy here is modest. Median household income is just under $50,000, lower than the Nevada state median of $70,000. That gap means housing may look affordable, but wages are thin. Jobs are concentrated in farming, small-scale retail, and services which don't offer much upward mobility. Still, Yerington has charm. It's one of the few Nevada towns with a genuine Main Street feel. Local diners, family-owned stores, and even an annual fair that draws crowds from surrounding areas. For retirees or remote workers who can bring income with them, Yerington offers a lifestyle where neighbors still wave hello, and crime rates sit 40% below the state average. But there's no avoiding the risks. If water shortages intensify, Yerington could see farmland dry up, jobs vanish, and property values slide. Affordability here feels stable, but its stability balanced on a very thin stream of water. 3. West Wendover. On the far eastern edge of Nevada, pressed right up against the Utah border, lies West Wendover. Population, about 4,700 people. Local economy, casinos, and more casinos. If you think of this place as Salt Lake City's unofficial entertainment district, you're not wrong. Thousands of Utah residents cross into West Wendover every weekend to gamble, because it's legal here and banned there. This unique setup makes West Wendover one of the strangest real estate markets in Nevada. Homes are cheaper than in Utah's Wasatch Front, but values rise and fall with casino performance. Right now, the average home sells for about $200,000 to $220,000. But the real story isn't the price, it's the volatility. During the pandemic, casino closures sent housing demand tumbling, and some homes sat unsold for over 6 months. When the casinos reopened, demand surged back. Few towns ride the boom and bust cycle as clearly as this one. Employment is heavily concentrated in hospitality. About 65% of the local workforce is tied directly to casinos, hotels, or restaurants. That lack of diversification is dangerous. A downturn in tourism could leave hundreds unemployed overnight, and in a town this small, that would ripple through the housing market instantly. But affordability is undeniable. Compared to Utah's median home price, currently over $480,000, West Wendover feels like a clearance rack. Property taxes are low, crime rates are manageable, and unlike Nevada's most isolated towns, West Wendover has big city access. Salt Lake City is just under 2 hours away. Life here isn't without quirks. The town literally straddles 2 time zones: Mountain Time in Utah and Pacific Time in Nevada. That means you could win a jackpot at 11 p.m. in the casino and walk across the street to find it's technically still 10 p.m. Confusing? Yes. Quirky? Definitely. Housing here is cheap, but it's a gamble. Fitting for a casino town, buyers betting on stability might be disappointed, but for those willing to ride the highs and lows, West Wendover remains one of Nevada's strangest but most affordable housing markets. 2. Ely. If you want to see Nevada's mining past still breathing in the present, Ely is where to go. With a population of around 3,900 residents, Ely combines history, affordability, and isolation in equal measure. The median listing price here is roughly $180,000 to $190,000, making it one of the cheapest towns in the entire state. That price buys more than a house. It buys into a lifestyle most Americans have never experienced. Ely is a place where you're more likely to hear the whistle of the historic Nevada Northern Railway than the hum of traffic, but cheap housing comes with trade-offs. Ely is remote. Las Vegas is about 240 miles away. Salt Lake City even farther. The average home sits on the market for nearly 90 days, and real estate turnover is slow. The local economy, still tied to copper mining, offers stability when commodity prices are strong, but it collapses when markets weaken. Mining accounts for over 30% of all jobs in White Pine County, so the town's fortunes rise and fall with global demand. Household incomes here average about $55,000, well below what's needed to buy in urban Nevada, but just enough to keep housing locally affordable. Rents hover around $800 per month, making Ely one of the rare places in America where renting or owning doesn't feel like a financial chokehold. But life here isn't easy. Winters are long, with snowstorms that can cut off travel for days. Healthcare options are limited, and young people often leave for bigger cities, leaving behind an older, aging population. On the plus side, crime is low, community ties are strong, and the scenery is breathtaking. Mountains, forests, and some of the darkest night skies in the country. Ely's affordability is real, but it comes with isolation as its price tag. If you're someone who values peace, history, and space, Ely might look like paradise. For others, it's just too far off the beaten path to be practical. 1. Carlin. At the top of our list is Carlin, a small city of about 2,300 residents tucked into Elko County. At first glance, Carlin looks like just another high desert town, but its real estate market tells a dramatic story about affordability, risk, and survival. Carlin's median home values hover around $160,000 to $170,000, making it one of the cheapest housing markets in the entire state. That number might sound unbelievable in a country where the national median now exceeds $400,000. But here in Carlin, what you save in dollars, you may pay for in volatility. The local economy is tied almost entirely to mining, especially gold. Nevada produces more than 70% of the gold in the US, and Carlin sits right in the heart of that boom. When commodity prices are high, jobs are plentiful, and demand for housing climbs. But when prices dip, layoffs sweep through town, for sale signs multiply, and home values tumble. In the last downturn, Carlin saw property values fall by nearly 40% in just 3 years. Adding to the uncertainty is location. Carlin lies along Interstate 80, about 20 miles west of Elko. That makes it more accessible than Ely, but it still feels remote. Grocery options are limited, healthcare requires a drive, and young people often leave in search of bigger opportunities. Houses may be cheap, but liquidity is low. Homes take an average of 85 days to sell, well above state averages. Yet Carlin also has its strengths. The town has a tight-knit community, relatively low crime, and outdoor recreation right on its doorstep. For buyers seeking land, peace, and affordability, Carlin looks like a jackpot, but it's a jackpot tied to the global gold market, a gamble no one controls. That's why Carlin stands at number 1. It represents the promise and the peril of Nevada's cheap housing. Here, affordability is real, but so are the risks. prices. Nevada's bargain towns may look like opportunity, but cheap doesn't always mean safe. Behind the low prices are risks too big to ignore. Stay informed, plan wisely, and subscribe for more housing market truths before the next bubble bursts.